So in this video I'm going to be talking about some of the signs and symbols that we find in pop music, rock music. How do you know how to sort out the navigation of the piece? So to start with the repeat symbols, there are four basic ones that we need to have a look at, which I've written out here. So we've got the repeat from and the repeat back. So when you see this symbol, this means you're going to have to repeat the section that you're going to play here. And the time to repeat it is when you've seen this double bar line here with the dots on the opposite side. So you play this whole section and then you go back here and then you play that whole section again. Sometimes you don't see the opening repeat marks here, which means that you would repeat right back from the beginning. So if you see this one without its mirror image here, then you go right back to the beginning and repeat everything up to that point again. So just to show you an example in this piece, this is the time. So I'm using my husband's Billy Joel Easy Piano Collection book here. So we would need to sort this out before you start playing, otherwise you can get very lost not knowing what page you're supposed to be going to. So we would look through looking for these particular symbols. So here we've got the repeat from mark, so we're going to have to find its end sign so we can know where we actually go back to that from. So here on the next page, this is a repeat back. So what we will do is start playing, play everything that's written here until we get to this point here, and then we're going to repeat where we've got this, the opposite side of this double bar line. So we go back to this part here, and this is another verse. So we have these repeat symbols in pop songs because of the repeated verses in them, and they don't want to print all of the music out when it's just the same being repeated over. So you play this for the second time, and when we get back to here, we're going to ignore this bar, which is called a first time bar. It's got this box over it with a number 1, which means you only play that on the first time. So because we're on the second time, we're going to ignore that and just skip over to the second time bar, which is here, and then we'll continue. So sometimes you can see these double bar lines which don't have any special instructions in them. They just help to divide the music up so you can see how it's structured. So here, there's one here because this is where the chorus starts. It just makes it a bit easier to find your way around. So we've got to the second time bar, so we're going to continue on. Keep on playing until we get here. Now this DSR coda is an Italian instruction, and DS stands for dal segno, and that means in English from the sign, and it's a particular sign. It's not any old sign, it's this sign here, which is this kind of curly thing with 2 dots in it. Sometimes they're quite tricky to find, and in some pop music, I found one in this book, there's actually 2 of these signs, which is very confusing, so do watch out for typos, but there should only be one. And in this case, it's here, so it's on the first page. So we've got to this point, DSL coda, dal segno. So from here, we skip right back to here, and then we play everything again. So this is the third time we've played this. But the other part of this, DSL coda, means that we're going to actually look for another symbol, which is this one. So this is the coda symbol, and this one was it's just called a segno, which means sign. Okay, so dal segno, we'll go back to the sign, and now we've got to be on the lookout for a coda symbol. So we'll play all of that again, and here is our coda symbol, and it's saying as well to coda, but it might not say that. It might just have the symbol there. So we don't play this bar, we play this, and then we go immediately to the coda. So from here, we find the coda written after everything else that we've played. So here is the coda, and the symbol is there again, so you can see how the 2 bits join up. You can see we've got 2 tied notes here actually, so you can see how that here ties on now to these 2 notes here. And then the coda section continues through. A double bar line here is not the end of the piece because it's 2 thin bar lines, so we're going to have to turn the page. And then we have another repeat section. So another repeat opening bar here, so we're going to know whether there has to be another sign the opposite way round to show us to come back here. So we've got 4 bars, and it's quite difficult to see on the middle of the spine, but here we've got the end repeat sign here, and it just tells us to repeat and fade. So you go back to here and then you just keep on doing it and fade out. So in that kind of thing, you have to sort of pretend to be a record that's dying out as it spins round, which is quite difficult to do when you're playing the piano, but you have to do the best you can. The other symbol which you might see, which isn't anything to do with repeats, is this one, which is called a fermata. In the United Kingdom, we tend to call it a pause mark, but I believe that in the USA, that's not what it's called, and it's called the fermata only. So if you see those, that means you've got to just hold on to the notes a bit longer than you would do normally.